Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2024 ARC National Beef Performers Awards. Each year, the Agricultural Research Council celebrates the remarkable dedication of our producers who strive to breed cattle that enhance both the sustainability and profitability of beef production in South Africa. Tonight is a tribute to our farmers and their teams, those who turn vision into reality, ensuring food security and the advancement of our agricultural landscape. This marks the 46th year of these awards, showcasing excellence in 7 unique categories that highlight the performance and dedication of beef cattle producers. Each category, backed by industry sponsors and key role players, honors outstanding achievements in breeding, production practices, and mentorship. And now I would like to welcome Dr. Ben Greiling and his team, who will formally welcome you to this prestigious occasion. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as we kickstart our evening tonight with the festivities, we thought it'd be fitting for us to get into conversation with Dr. Ben Greiling, with Professor Norman and Professor Linky to give us an overview of tonight and also the contributions of ARC in the industry. I'm going to start off with Dr. Ben. Let's start with you. Give us an overview of tonight's proceedings.
Yeah, thank you, Tebogo. The proceedings of tonight is really to give recognition to outstanding performances from our farmers across different production spectra, of course. And this awards event is now running almost for 50 years, né? Wow. Yeah, where we really acknowledge the inputs that farmers have made, making use, amongst others, of scientific technologies to ensure they are sustainable and profitable and really to adapt to change. You know, they say the only constant in life is change. So they have to adapt. Climate doesn't stay constant. Socioeconomic conditions don't stay constant. So they need to adapt. And markets, of course, don't stay constant. So this awards event is really to showcase to the world how our farmers make use of scientific technology, amongst others, to really go forward and really to how to adapt. We must always remember our farmers play a central role when it comes to food security. Yeah. So they really need to be up top there, to maintain themselves. And the scientific technologies that we focus on in this awards event is performance testing. Performance testing is how do you collect performance data of animals and herds, turn that into information, and now that information is used as a very powerful tool by our farmers, by our industry, to ensure we make genetic progress, because that's really vital. You have to make genetic progress as times change, of course. And that will be showcased tonight over many different herds, many countrywide, of course. And then the other thing, of course, that we will also highlight tonight is how do farmers plow back their knowledge, their experience, their assistance to other farmers across the production spectra to really ensure that everybody gets all the resources and the tools they need to really perform and to stay in the beef value chains, of course.
Oh, quite a few things that I'll be learning as well, because I'm not very well versed when it comes to farming, I'll be honest. But by the end of this evening, I'll know everything there is to. Professor Norman, if you could please give us an overview of the field of animal production and specifically outline the role of the ARC Animal Production Campus in supporting the beef sector.
Thank you very much, Tebogo. The field of animal science, it's a very, very broad field. And you can underscore the word science, meaning that we have moved away from looking at animal production as an art. It is now a science. And there are a number of areas that we focus on when we talk about animal science. We talk about using the science to breed animals, the science to come up with new animal products that are safe and healthy for our country. And also we look at field management, which is the primary key or the primary driver to animal production in South Africa. In fact, 70% of our country can only be used for animal production. Hence, we do focus a lot in these different areas of animal production. And what is important for tonight is the science about how do we do animal recording so that we can improve the national herd. So animal science is very, very important when it comes to food security. In fact, almost half of our GDP, agricultural GDP, comes from livestock. So animal science is very, very important, and it has a number of sub-disciplines that are important when it comes to using science in order to drive productivity in this country. So in the nutshell, the focus tonight will be to look at how are farmers using animal science in order to drive productivity. And if you are following the developments, in 2050, we'll be having 9 billion people.
Yeah.
That's quite a lot of people to feed.
Yeah.
Hence, we are putting a lot of effort into making sure that we understand animal science so that we can come up with better ways to produce safe and nutritious animal products.
Animal farming and animal production is no longer just an art, but it's also a science. Okay. Over to you, Professor Linky. Please elaborate on the role of emerging technologies such as genomics and smart sensors in enhancing the accuracy and efficiency when it comes to animal improvement.
Thank you, Ntate Tebogo. The fundamental principle that I wish to highlight today is this. If you cannot measure it, you cannot improve it. So in the era of emerging technologies such as genomics, phenotype is king. So smart sensors enable us to measure phenotypes such as animal behavior. Their behavior such as feeding or drinking, in terms of how often per day do they go to the feeding bin and how long they stay there. So we have upgraded our vital growth facilities for large-scale phenotyping of feed efficiency traits as well as water efficiency traits. And more recently, we have purchased a green feed system that will enable us to measure methane. And overall, we wish to demethanize the beef cattle industry in responding to the climate smart practices. In terms of genomics just turbocharge our animal production systems. If we have all the phenotypes that we need in place, we genotype individual animals. And we are able to tell today, not tomorrow, which animals we can invest in as the breeding stock.
Wow. It's almost alien technology. Professor Norman, please elaborate on, I understand that there's a collaboration between ARC Animal Production Campus and the industry, especially when it comes to introducing new sciences and disseminating the science into the industry itself. Please elaborate a bit more on that.
Yeah, Tebogo, partnerships are the way to go. No individual organization has enough resources to be able to address the challenges that we face as a country. I mean, if you look at it, poverty, it just keeps going. Joblessness just keeps going. So we are looking into innovative partnerships with industry to pull together the little resources that we have so that we can bring about change. So in the last 10 years or so, we have been investing significantly into entering into partnerships with industry. Around 2015, we came together with industry, academia, and all the other role players within our industry to come up with a research project which we called Beef Genomics Program. And this is what Linky was talking about in terms of bringing the science to bear. So through this partnership, we were able to leverage significant public funding from the Technology Innovation Agency, which allowed us to collect the phenotypic data, which is just performance data on traits of economic importance. But very, very important, we were able to enter into new terrain of using DNA to understand the fingerprint of individual animals which allows us to be able to come up with better breeding stock. So through this partnership, we are now moving into the new phase of the beef genomics program, which we have just started in March this year. This program is going to run for another 3 years with significant funding. We're talking about millions.
Yeah.
At a minimum, there is around 40 million of public funding that is coming into the pot, and a whole lot more that is coming from industry. And what we have picked up is that as a country, when we work together, no problem is bigger and unresolvable. So we are now putting a lot of effort into building these partnerships with industry. But the partnerships are not only localized. We are also looking into the international arena because we need to pool our resources. I mean, issues such as climate change, that's not a national problem, it's an international problem. So we have seen that through partnerships, we are able to do more. And it is befitting tonight that we will be celebrating our farmers because these are our main partners. When you talk industry, you talk about farmers. And we have seen that when we work with farmers, we are making a lot of progress. So for us, we are on the right track. And there are also a number of issues that come into play. You can't just produce. You must have a market. So when you work with established farmers, you're able to bring on board your new generation farmers who are also coming into the picture. So we have seen that within a short space of time, our industry has grown in leaps and bounds, and this spells very well for our country.
I love the emphasis on collaboration and partnerships. Working in silos has never benefited anyone, especially in our industry. Professor Linky, what are the practical and effective approaches to fast-tracking technology adoption, especially when it comes to smallholder farming systems that may benefit from this?
Well, I think the quickest way to fast-track tech adoption is to buy, to seek buy-in from the industry. We need to involve them from the beginning. Let's not do it for them, let's do it with them. And it's going back to the BGP that Prof. Norman was talking about. The industry, everybody's involved. And in so doing, we over time get their full support. You even get more from them in terms of how can you fine-tune some of those needs that the industry needs. Because if you just do it for them, you come back with those tech solutions and they just tell you, this is useless, But what I've observed is that most ARC researchers, before they can hit the laboratory, they go out on a roadshow through what we call the KYD program to engage the farmers in terms of, or make awareness of the research and derive more needs from the farmers. And in so doing, there is this continuous cycle of innovation, of need-based solutions. So in terms of smallholder farmers, I cannot overstate what Norman mentioned in terms of partnerships. There need to be partnerships between the commercial as well as the smallholder farmers in addressing some of the current country challenges, and I think the BGP is addressing that. But also there need to be mentorship programs where some of the farmers that are in the forefront of the tech implementation hold hands with those smallholder farmers that are lagging for mutual growth. But so researchers as well would need to also, you can't come up with solution and then put up a blanket between the different sectors because they're different in scale. So there need to be targeted interventions for different commercial farms so that at the end of the day, everybody benefits from those tech solutions.
Oh, amazing. And Dr. Ben, before you think I forgot about you, please summarize the importance and the significance of science, especially in this industry, and also what can our lovely viewers expect to see for the remainder of this evening?
Yeah, thanks, Tebogo. I think my colleagues, our two professors here, they've highlighted the real importance of science as a technology. It's become indispensable. I don't think, I think we all know that you cannot sustain yourself without scientific tools. The whole world is using it to sort of sustain yourself, but also to make progress, of course. So it's really important. I think the other big thing is also we need to, and that's that they've also mentioned, how we collaborate with one another, because we need to cross-pollinate one another. And that's very important to get. Science must not just be adopted, it must also be implemented. So tonight is really about how did the farmers implement the scientific technology, of course with a focus on performance testing. And we're going to see many things tonight. We're going to see how animals perform really, really fantastic in terms of the farmers made selection decisions using this performance data that they turn into information, and the kind of animals, how they perform, the performance figures, that will be shown to the world. So there will be no less than 7 award categories that's going to show the world. I mentioned earlier, our farmers are considered the best among the best in the world. To show the world what can be achieved by implementing this performance recording as a technology and other associated technologies, of course, as well. So we are very excited to share this with the world and to show them out there what can be achieved.
And then finally, before I let you guys leave, are there any specific categories that you are very interested in tonight? I'm going to start with you, Dr. Ben.
They are all, it's a difficult question, Tebogo. There's 7. I think one of the categories that I may highlight is maybe the herd of the year, because it used to be just focused on how did the herds of those particular finalists perform. But we've changed the focus a bit. It's not just about how the animals perform. It's for us very important, and that comes back to what my colleagues have said, how these farmers plow back into industry, how they develop industry, how they take hands with their other farmers, plow back their experience, their tools, their patience, and very, very importantly, their resilience. For me, that, including the others, is part of the bigger package.
Okay. Professor Norman?
I think we have reached the time of the evening where I have to stand on the fence. To me, I'm just happy that we're continuing on this good tradition.
Yeah.
And what is heartwarming is that we have wonderful finalists. And to me, everybody who has made it this far, they are the winners. For me, the best category is all the finalists that have made it this far.
After farming, you must go into politics. And then for Professor Lincoln?
I think indeed all the categories are very, very critical, because I think they were chosen for a particular role that they play. But, being a professor, but capacity building is key to me. And I've already mentioned that we need to have mentors in the system. And for me, the Mentor of the Year award is the one that really stands out for me, because then you want those farmers that are in the forefront to hold hand, and move together as they move forward, so that eventually the gap between the commercial and the smallholder systems closes up. So Mentor of the Year.
There we go. Listen, not just number 1 in rugby, but also the number 1 in farming. That's where we stand. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So next on the agenda, I get to speak with the one and only, the head honcho, the leader, Dr. Lita Makinga, the CEO of ARC. Sir, thank you so much for your time and welcome. And I want us to start off with a conversation about the ARC and its strategic partners, especially in addressing challenges and exploiting opportunities in the field of science and technology.
Thank you very much. And thank you for the opportunity for us to share a little bit about the work of the ARC. First of all, we are a research organization, which means that we have, a responsibility to carry out research as a science council, develop technologies, and make sure that those technologies get to the intended recipients, the end users, which is the agricultural sector. But because we are also involved in the agricultural sector, we also have an agricultural development responsibility.
Okay.
So we have a science council responsibilities as a research organization, but we also have to then transfer those to make sure that they contribute to agricultural development, that those technologies, actually, are taken up by the intended recipients. And of course, if you can imagine the value chain of research and the continua of innovation, we are more leaning towards the applied side of innovation, where we make sure that those technologies that we develop, applied technologies that can be taken up by the sector. Yeah. And we do, as a result, most of our work with a lot of partnerships that we're involved in, whether we're working with universities, other science councils, but most importantly, the industry partners who we collaborate with in developing and designing research projects based on what is required to solve some of the very important challenges that we are dealing with in the sector.
I want us to now get into a conversation about how the ARC bridges the information and technology gap, especially when it comes to innovative solutions that can be effectively implemented and communicated from grassroots levels.
Absolutely. And that's why it's very important that in terms of the work that we do, we maintain that linkage on the ground to make sure that our work or the outcomes or the outputs from the work that we do actually reaches the sector in general. And one of the initiatives, for instance, that we are very proud of is the work that we are doing in the KYD, full name Kaunafatso ya Dikgomo project, where we work with some of the smaller livestock producers, and we make sure that that initiative is actually informed by the research work that happens at our science on the research side, and is transferred directly through the program of KYD into those that are targeted to benefit from such programs. And that's just one of the examples that we are able to reach our farmers. But besides that, this is something that we have built into our programs in general, that we make sure that we work closely with the industry in co-funding some of the important research initiatives, such as the beef genomics project, where we work closely with a number of several partners to develop technologies that inform, that take scientific knowledge to usable outputs in the sector. So we are very proud of some of those initiatives.
You spoke earlier about collaborating with various institutions, government, schools, private sectors. Give us some examples of some of these collaborations that have sort of helped in terms of, shall we say, dealing with the challenges, right? But also creating opportunities for growth and innovation in this industry.
Yeah. So the beef genomics project is one of the examples which I've just spoken about, which assists us to transfer, scientific knowledge into, through these kind of partnerships that I'm talking about, into projects and programs and products that can be used by the sector. But you have several other examples. We have several memoranda of understanding with various other entities where we co-fund projects together with the agricultural sector, different partners. And livestock is just one area. But we also, even when it goes, we go to the other side of crop sciences. There is a lot of work that we are doing, of course, together with industry partners
Yeah.
that assist us to transfer scientific knowledge into usable outputs for the agricultural sector. We are in the process now, for instance, of developing the country's foot and mouth disease production facility, a project that has just been given new energy in order to make sure that we deal with biosecurity issues across the country, which is something that obviously you can't do on your own, because biosecurity is everybody's responsibility. And we have a number of such examples where we work closely with industry, and we make some of our facilities available, whether you're talking about what we have at our transboundary animal diseases facility. We have those facilities available to all the the partners in the sector. We provide diagnostic services for the entire sector through our facilities, and we don't limit ourselves. Our work is not limited only to South Africa. We do this work even with partners across the borders, because, as you know, biological phenomena doesn't really stop at the border, and same when it comes to knowledge. Knowledge is also works and transverses and crosses borders. So we work closely, and we hold several reference laboratories that are accredited by the World Organization for Animal Health in our facilities, a very high number of them, and I'm told by colleagues is probably the highest in the world.
Oh, yes. Wow. Oh, and then when it comes to these innovations and different farmers and people bringing in solutions and ideas, how does ARC recognize such outstanding performance?
So we actually work back to partnerships, to emphasizing the importance of partnerships in the work of ARC. An initiative like the one we are hosting currently, the National Beef Performance Awards, is actually one such initiative where we work closely with industry partners in order to recognize those that using, again, some of the knowledge and information that is generated through science, that they are able to take that to show results in their output and show us good performing agricultural enterprises. And then you select amongst those what you would call some of the best in the country. And we are very proud of being associated with some of the partners that we work with in this initiative, because, again, it encourages excellence, which is something that we should all be striving for, which is part of the vision of the Agricultural Research Council, to maintain excellence in agricultural research and development. And we are very proud to be associated with this initiative and host this initiative every year in order to make sure that all our deserving enterprises are properly recognized.
And then I guess in closing, I would like to ask you, as the CEO of ARC, what has been the most fulfilling part of this role?
I think the most fulfilling part is seeing the difference on the ground. It is speaking in a forum or in a gathering of people where you come across somebody you don't even know who they are, coming up to you and saying, I have benefited from the work that you are doing at the ARC. That is the most fulfilling part, because then you can see that we are indeed adding value to the lives of the people. We are indeed adding value to the agricultural sector in South Africa, and that our technologies are making a meaningful change, which is what we all live to do every day when we wake up.
Is there a specific category, if I may ask, that you're looking forward to tonight?
I would rather not. For me, I have to say, let's leave that to our adjudicators to come up with the best of the best. But of course, I will have a bias towards those that have a potential to still grow, and I will look towards the lower end of the categories to say that is where we need to put in a little bit of effort so that we can see growth and graduation across the higher levels.
Dr. Lita, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much for having me.
Well, a cornerstone of this event is the ongoing support from the Department of Agriculture, Land Reform and Rural Development, a partner in these awards since the very beginning. It's an honor for me to be chatting with Joel Mamabolo about these awards and his insights into the world of farming. Joel, thank you so much for your time and welcome.
Thank you very much.
Let's talk about where you think the state of South Africa is and what makes us so unique, especially when it comes to livestock production.
Yeah, firstly, thank you very much for this interview. We are now Department of Agriculture following the polls that we had this year in May. The one unique issue that one can talk of in terms of only the livestock agriculture in general is that our farmers internationally are renowned to be the best herdsmen or cattlemen. And this is found its foundation from the legislative framework in terms of regulations in South Africa. In this case, I will only talk of Animal Improvement Act, for which these awards are based on.
Yeah.
The awards are based on ability of South African farmers to measure. And those measurements are the standards that makes the livestock agriculture unique internationally.
What are the challenges that you would have seen and observed yourself that farmers are facing, especially in South Africa, and how can they overcome them?
There are a number of challenges. Lately, we're talking of biosecurity, which is something that can be overcome through collaboration of farmers and the state. That is the department and the state. And also the challenge of having individual animal identification and traceability. But above all, there are challenges that are far beyond our means, in the sense that we now have climate change. And what makes a big challenge is that our livestock agriculture is vulnerable to climate change. And on the other hand, livestock agriculture also contributes to greenhouse gas emissions, which drives climate change. And how we are overcoming that is that the department has invested hugely into research and development through the Agricultural Research Council. We currently do not have clear-cut baseline for livestock emissions.
Okay.
If you look annually, greenhouse emissions contribute about 14% from agriculture. And from sub-Saharan Africa, is estimated to be 12.4% of carbon dioxide equivalent emissions. And so we are now dealing with research to be able to come up with our own emissions, not those that we read from the literature. So a huge investment made into our research institutions. We, to the extent that you may have heard that we are also constructing the climate center.
Yes.
To be able to address these issues. If we have that center, of course, that center will be able to attract not only ARC, but all research institutions in South Africa, the universities and other research partners, and also regionally in the SADC region, to be able to come up with clear guidelines for mitigation and adaptation into climate change to enable us to have food security within the region and in South Africa as well.
Farmers have quite a tough job. They provide for our societies, for our community, for the world. What message would you want to send to the farmers in South Africa?
The best message is, as you know, we cannot sustain ourselves without food.
Yeah.
So one needs to thank our farmers for the hard work they do. But I can assure you that we do have the agricultural processing master plans for which the farmers are major players. So the message is we only need to collaborate together to address a number of challenges that I've just alluded to, and to address these challenges to sustain our agricultural production in the region, South Africa and beyond.
And Joel, are you a farmer yourself?
No, I'm not.
Are you
I'm
planning
aspiring.
on? Aspiring.
I'm aspiring farmer, yes.
Joel, thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure.
ARC National Best Elite Cow Awards, sponsored by Farmers Weekly. We begin with the 2024 ARC National Best Elite Cow Awards, proudly sponsored by Farmers Weekly for the 46th consecutive year. This award considers only the actual performance data of competing cows, which must demonstrate exceptional reproductive performance, maternal abilities, and pre-weaning growth rates. Competing across all breeds, the top cow per breed is named the champion. This year, cows from 23 breeds are being honored, ranging in age from 8 to 18 years, with intercalving periods between 332 to 416 days. Notably, our oldest recipient at 18 years old has raised 15 calves. It's my pleasure to introduce the 2024 honorees for the National Best Elite Cow Awards. N.D. Janssen van Rensburg's Afrism cow, JVR 1324. The Ankoli cow belonging to Dale van Rensburg, DT 1583. Lawrence and Alistair Brown's Beef Shorthorn cow, BLK 13229. David Hartzenberg's Bonsmara cow, FHK 15167. The Boeran cow, AAA 0810 of Bram Dekker. JJ Bester and Daughters Brandvi, HB 158. The Charolais cow, MCS 1143, belonging to Clive Marshall. Gerardus Davis Dexter cow, WN 152. Karel Nels Drakensberger, CL 0969. The Droughtmaster cow VOVA 1347, belonging to Chippy Watson. Belonging to AJ de Toy, the Limousine cow LR 0629. Hannes Extiens Nguni EX16123. The Pinsgauer cow GB 1256 of Bertie van Sale Pty Limited. Also belonging to Bertie van Sale Pty Limited, the Pinzale WE142. The SA Angus cow ZDW149 that belongs to Sanetta Dupré. Diens de Jagers SA Brafford cow NT135. Bertus Monks SA Hereford BMH 1541. Amy Williams Santa Gertrudis cow DJW119. Diens Flotman Sinnepol cow VL1326. The Simondala cow GV11223 belonging to Stefan Voits. James and John Miller's South Devon cow JM141693. Theo van Sales Sussex TZ15108. The Thule cow CR13104 belonging to Cornelis Rautenbach. A big congratulations to the elite cows and their owners. It's now time for us to hear from the sponsor, Janine Ryan of Farmers Weekly. Well, congratulations to the proud owners of these elite cows. It's now time for us to get into conversation with Janine Ryan of Farmers Weekly, the proud sponsors of this category. Janine, welcome. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
You have been, as Farmers Weekly, you've been sponsoring this category for eons now. What are the primary objectives of Farmers Weekly? And what are you hoping to achieve through this continued sponsorship?
Yeah, so we have been sponsoring it for eons at this point, several decades. I think the reason that we continue to sponsor this particular category is twofold. So Farmers Weekly was established in 1911, so it's 113 years now.
Yeah.
And our mandate since 1911 has been to serve agriculture. So while we do that through the dissemination of information, part of meeting that mandate is also through inspiration and motivation. So we believe that by sponsoring these awards, we can show farmers what can be done with hard work and perseverance. And of course, the right genetics and knowledge and technology. I mean, it's not just about hard work ultimately.
Yeah.
But we hope to be able to inspire other farmers to also reach the same heights that these award winners have reached. And then also through showcasing these awards, we hope to put other farmers in contact with these particular breeders to ultimately improve their own herds.
Yeah. Yeah. And then when it comes to the alignment of the vision and the values of Farmers Weekly, and then sponsoring this category, how do those perfectly align?
So one of our missions at Farmers Weekly is to elevate farmers in the view of the public in South Africa. We believe that farmers have been scapegoated a lot, particularly in terms of the climate change. For example, the mainstream media will talk about climate change, and it usually comes down to farmers need to change the way they operate, or climate change is happening because of livestock farming.
Yeah.
So obviously there's a lot of inaccuracy in that, but we also aim to prove that farmers are actually actively working towards changing the way that they farm in order to better the environment. So the lead cow category fits into that through for example, farmers breeding animals to be more efficient.
Yeah.
And in that, showing that they're actually working towards improving farming to help the environment, which I think is probably more than any other industry is doing.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
And then for next year's potential winner, what advice would you give them on having the elite cows and obviously winning this category?
So I would say that they need to take careful notice of the farmers that have won before, what they have done, how they've done it, get into contact with those farmers, perhaps buy in animals that would give them the indices that they are looking for, and never give up, I guess. It's not a sprint. It's obviously a marathon, and it takes time to get to that level. But I think if you do all of that, if you take notice of what people have done before and invest in the right genetics, then I think you can get there.
Outside of the elite cow category, which you're sponsoring, which other categories are you looking forward to tonight?
So we always like the Mentor of the Year category. I think mostly because Farmers Weekly has also changed a bit in the sense that we are trying to engage more with smaller farmers, with up-and-coming farmers. And we know that those farmers need mentorship, in particular, to get to that commercial level. So we always look forward to seeing who is doing the most, really, to try and help those farmers reach that level.
Well, Janine, thank you so much for your time, and thank you for your continued sponsorship of the elite cows.
Thank you very much.
ARC National Platinum Bull Awards, sponsored by GMP Leader Products SA. To be considered for the Platinum Bull Award, a bull must be born from an elite cow and demonstrate superior performance traits, making it the best of the best. Very few bulls qualify, as the evaluation criteria are exacting. Eligible bulls must have earned a gold merit certificate from the ARC or private phase C tests in 2023, while their dams must have an elite status. The 2024 recipients of this award are as follows: Gert Nels Bonsmara, GJN 22345. Also belonging to Gartnel, GJN 22450. The Bonsmara NFS 2215 belonging to Nick Sarfontein of Sarnik Bonsmaras. Along with the Bonsmara NFS 22203, NFS 22205, NFS 22244, and NFS 22568. Carl Scholes, SA Hereford, ZK 22176. The Pinzale Bull belonging to Bertie van Sail Pty Limited, PZ 220122. Desmond Robertson's Santa Gertrudis, SS 22129. And CB Celia's Sussex, CC 22123. Our heartfelt congratulations to the winners. Thank you to GMP Leader Products SA, our category sponsors, who have been part of these awards for the past 13 years. They play a pivotal role in individual livestock identification, which is so important for traceability, biosecurity, day-to-day farm management, and livestock theft and movement control. GMP Leader Products SA also enable other companies to thrive by allowing them to focus on their main purpose. Thank you for your contribution to the success of the awards. ARC National KYD Province of the Year Award, sponsored by Molotech. This award celebrates the province with the highest number of active farmers registered on integers who have uploaded data between April of the previous year and March of the award year. Since its introduction in 2016, this award has recognized provinces excelling in engagement. This year's top 3 finalists for KYD Province of the Year are: in third place, Eastern Cape; in second place, Mpumalanga; and the winner, KwaZulu-Natal. Well, congratulations and a special recognition to KwaZulu-Natal, who consistently through the years have held the title of this category. We now hear from the sponsors. I get into conversation with Willem Volskenk of Molotech. Willem, welcome and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Tebogo. It's my pleasure to be here.
When it comes to performance testing of beef cattle, what value does Molotech see in this?
Yeah, no, Tebogo, we see it in a very high value. We believe in performance testing of herds and of cattle and of breeds. So we support them wherever we can. And we're there to improve the biological and economical efficiency of beef performance, and also then improving the herd and the different breeds through that. And also we believe in supporting the farmer because we believe in genetic improvement, the genetic merit of the different breeds and of the herd of the farmer. And we take their hands there and we walk the way with them, and we want to support them in that division.
And what role does feeding, because I know, human beings, we eat almost for leisure and for fun. But when it comes to cattle and beef, what role does feeding play in beef performances?
Yeah, it plays a very big role. And I always say without feeding and extra supplementation in Africa, and in Southern Africa in particular, you need that. You can't go without it if you want performance in your cow herd. So we are especially concerned about the fertility. We want to pick up the fertility of each and every herd, each and every breed in South Africa. And to do that, we must support the farmer. We must go to the farm and introduce him to different feeding production systems. And we must take his hand and advise him to do the correct feeding practices. So fertility, number one, that's very important. Then if you look at the bull, the breeding bull, the breeding bull must be in a good condition, not too fat when he
Okay.
goes to the cows.
Okay.
If he's too fat,
Yeah.
he will pick up problems with his sperm production and the quality of his sperm.
Okay.
If he's too fat, he will be unfit. So one must be careful not to overfeed your breeding bull. If you go to the cow herd at the end of the day, there again fertility, but also the different production systems. And we place emphasis there on the cow herd and then also on the feeding of the heifer, the first calver. That is very important. And I think the farmers in South Africa, the beef farmers in South Africa, they neglect their heifers a bit. So if they can put more emphasis on feeding of the heifer and the first calver, because they need a bit more supplementation when they calve down for the first time, to give them that bit extra, because they're still small, they're still in a developing stage, and now they calve down, and they must look after their calf. So therefore we take the farmers' hands and we introduce them to all these feeding practices on the farm, and we give them that very good quality product and service at the end of the day through our service on the farm.
What role has climate change played in, especially feeding, and then obviously the overall beef performance?
No, it's played a huge role, really. Over the past, I will say 15 years, we can have a look at our winter, summer, autumn, spring. It has shifted. So the rains arrives later than 15 years ago.
Yeah.
So the winter months really is prolonged, and it's very hard for the cattle beef farmer to survive, especially through September, October, and also November nowadays, because of the rains that arrives a bit later than, say, for instance, 20, 30 years ago. So, no, climate change is playing a role in this.
And then your final piece of advice to farmers, especially who need to prioritize feeding a bit more and perhaps even getting more supplementation into their feed because of climate change and such issues and that affect the cows.
Yeah, I will say make use of your Molotech technical advisor. Get him to come and have a visit on the farm. Let him see what your production systems is all about. And when he's on the farm and he can see how you farm with your cattle, he can give you the correct advice at the end of the day.
And then I don't know if you would be the right person to ask this question, but when it comes to cow milk, Willem, are human beings allowed to drink cow milk? Because I've heard that only baby cows should eat or drink cow milk. Are we allowed to drink cow milk?
Yes, we must. No, we need cow milk.
Okay.
So all these artificial types of milk and stuff, no. I'm one for the natural stuff, and we need it. We need the calcium. We need all the vitamins, minerals. That is part and parcel of milk. So don't be without your milk. Drink your milk.
Don't be without your milk, drink your milk. Did you hear that? Willem, thank you so much for your time and for your continued support. in
My
these
pleasure.
awards.
Thank you, Tebogo.
Awesome. ARC National Kaunafatso ya Dikgomo of the Year Award, sponsored by Plaas Media and Stock Farm. For 22 years, this award has acknowledged outstanding emerging beef farmers in the Kaunafatso ya Dikgomo scheme, who are making strides in herd management and improvement. Members must apply modern recording and selection techniques to compete. The finalists for 2024 are Weziwe Zondani of King Glen Farm, Eastern Cape; Pule Mwalasi of Werop Farm, Free State; Catherine Sipeng of Portion 14, Jagersbosch; Sipozake Zuma of Amafu Farm, KwaZulu-Natal; Azwindini Maiwashe of Maiwashe Estate, Limpopo; Tamsanqa Mqokezeli of Riverside Farm, Western Cape; Philip Mahlangu of Liupurki, JS267P4, Mpumalanga; Peter Thuis of Membies Vlakte Farm, Northern Cape; Kgabiso Moikeletsi of Sekai Farm, Northwest. And the winner, Tamsanga Mkokezeli of Riverside Farm, our 2024 Kaunafatso ya Dikgomo of the Year Award winner.
Yeah, Equator Supply and Farming was established in 2012. It's a mixed farming. We are farming with cattle, of which is Bonsmara, and also flowers under irrigation. Then we have acquired the land in 2016 here in Overbeck area. We are being assisted by government in other buying the cattle and stuff. Then we are happy farming good. We are happy about the cattle and stuff. Then the rainfall average is 350 to 450 millimeter a year. Then the vegetation in terms of the grasses that we have here, we have kukuyu, ryegrass, and also buffalo grass in this area. The cattle, we started with 30 cows with one bull in 2016, but now we are at 40. Now we are trying to increase our numbers, but the limiting factor is the land, because it's not that big to carry in terms of carrying capacity. But we hope we're gonna go there, because we are looking forward to be at 80 heads in 5 years to come. The grazing in terms of, we have planted some, we used to plant some oats during the season for them to graze, and also during the summertime we are planting some kukuyu and also ryegrass, a mixture of the perennial grass that we can feed them on during summer, and also bring the bales. We are feeding them the bales during summer, and also buying some protein blocks to feed them during summer, and also give the injection like to get the minerals like Doraject and also the Doraject and other vaccines, just to give them the minerals. Yeah, we are impacting a lot there, because everyone that is working on the farm, as I've mentioned earlier, that we also do the flowers. We employ many guys from the location, and also we do give them flowers, more especially at the churches during the functions. We give them flowers for the decorations. Even the farmers around during the wine tasting, was nearby us, the wine tasting, we used some time, give them the flowers to decorate with the flowers for free. Yes, we do keep proper production record. For instance, now we record everything that is calving from the birth. We take the birth weight, and also just to monitor the growth rate of our animals up until from the birth weight to the weaning stage and to the year stage, so that we can easily take a decision as to whether this one can be more, we can keep for production or to sell. Those records are helping us a lot to make a decision whether to sell or to keep for the breeding stock. And now our record, we focus more, because it's helping us for the selection for the breeding, for selection for breeding, and also to see which one are doing good, which one are not in terms of the growth rate, so that we can breed with the ones that are not in good condition. Our long-term goal is to farm with about 80 cows. That we can even buy some other farms, because this one seemingly cannot carry that unity. We are looking forward to be able to buy other farms to farm with Botswana, because it's doing good in this area.
All right, congratulations to our KYD winner. And now let's talk to the sponsor of this category, Lynette Lowe of Plaas Media, the publisher of Stock Farm. Lynette, thank you so much for your time and welcome.
Pleasure.
Let's talk about the Kaunafatso ya Dikgomo KYD scheme. Walk us through it. What is it all about? And what value does it bring to farmers in South Africa?
So the scheme is a national scheme, and it essentially assists emerging farmers to become fully fledged commercial farmers. This is done by way of a beef recording scheme. And this scheme assists farmers in recording their cattle data and employing technologies that will assist them in improving their herds. Okay. So essentially it all means improving the herds by using your data, employing it correctly to grow your herd and to make them more fertile, and in the end, producing more beef for the country.
For those who might be considering getting onto this scheme and becoming a part of it, why would they? Why would they? Because there are probably other schemes around in the world, especially in South Africa, that could help them and measure and monitor them from becoming or from being emerging to commercial. Why would they consider the KYD scheme?
The scheme is absolutely tailor-made for South Africa. It considers South African conditions, and it understands the challenges that our emerging farmers face, especially access to technology, things like that. So this is an existing program that they can tap into, and there are offices that assist them. So the infrastructure is already there. It's basically plug and go.
And then your top tip for next year's potential winner?
Join the scheme. That's the very first important thing to do. Yeah. There are about 8,000 members already, emerging farmers. Reach out, register for the scheme. The integer system is a computerized system on which you capture your data. But an officer will come out. They will assist them, that they will take them through every single step that is needed.
Amazing. Lynette, thank you so much for your time and obviously for your continued support through the scheme.
Thank you.
Awesome. ARC National Mentor of the Year Award, sponsored by Molotech. This award celebrates those farmers who demonstrate exceptional mentorship, helping others to enhance productivity and sustainability. This year, we recognize 2 winners. Our first honoree is Amy Williams of Scotson Farms in Mpumalanga.
Being a mentor to me is somebody who is perhaps a teacher, but not quite as present as a teacher. You're there in the background, helping people if they need it. That's the simple definition that I feel is involved in mentorship. First of all, I think you need to have patience experience, and empathy. Empathy is important. You need to be able to realize that, understand people and see their point of view before you can help. And circumstances are very different, so you have to take that into account. I assist when I'm asked to, if I can. Sometimes I can't, because it's a very different situation that I'm in, perhaps from what the mentors have asked me. But I think what I like to do, if I can, is to prevent, especially young and new breeders, making the same stupid mistakes that I've made over the last 50 years of breeding. And if I can prevent that, then I feel I've achieved something. I get asked a lot when I'm doing inspections as well. People say, what do you think of this? Is this the right way to go about it? And I try my best to help. And that's what I think that it's mostly about, really, to give encouragement and help. Well, I think with regards to progress, it's a long, long process. Stud breeding, it's a very long process. I mean, I get photographs from people sent to me by WhatsApp asking me, do you think this bull or this bull would be better on this heifer? And, I say what I think, but it takes years, really, of breeding to see progress. I try to help people as much as I can, but to see progress is a long story. But what I feel I try and do is give people praise and encouragement, and also try and relay the passion that I have for my 50-year task of breeding the perfect animal, which I haven't got there yet, and I've got many more mistakes. But I do try and do that. In the background, only when I'm asked. Hang in there. That's the best advice I can give you, because so many times in agriculture, you can't dictate. You can do the best you can, but you can't help with the market, and you can't help with the prices. And the weather, you're dicing. You might as well go to the casino sometimes. And I just say, hang in there, especially in stud breeding, because it's a long-term prospect, long-term.
Our second recipient is Nick Serfontein of the Sernik Group in the Free State. So today I'm hanging out with Nick Serfontein from the Sernik Group. He is 2024's Mentor of the Year. Nick, first of all, congratulations, Mentor of the Year. Let's start with, what does that mean to you?
Thank you, Tabo. Look, mentoring is basically holding somebody's hand. If you look at land reform in South Africa, it's a mess. It's been a mess, it's still a mess. Why do 90% plus of land reform projects fail? Because of a few things. a farmer gets land, there's no infrastructure, there's no training, he's got no experience, there's no mentoring, there's no monitoring. So all of these things are important. You've got those 4 elements that a farmer needs to grow. And if you look at how many CPAs there are in South Africa, 1,400, 90% plus of them have failed or are failing. So for the same reasons, there's no training, there's no experience, no mentoring, no monitoring. So that is basically, mentoring is basically holding somebody's hand.
For you, what are the skills that one needs to have to become a mentor?
Well, obviously you need experience. You need to understand the product that you're offering, whether it's beef farming, whether it's maize farming or whatever. You've got to understand it. You've got to have the passion for it. You've got to be able to transfer the skills in a simple, practical way. And we do a lot of practical farmers' days to do that. So but you've got to have a passion for it, because and the one reason why we started it, we need land reform in South Africa to succeed. If we don't succeed, we're going to be, and that's why we're climbing in. We're doing all this stuff out of our own will.
You would be then the perfect person for me to be asking what advancements or improvements that you have seen, especially for the farmers that you have mentored yourself.
Well, the improvement is unreal. We've trained 700 farmers. We've got 2 training centers, one in town, one on the farm. We've trained 700 farmers through 4,000 courses, long courses, NQF4 courses with short courses. And, talking to these, the former Minister of Agriculture was here last year or 2 years ago, and what she couldn't believe what she saw. What we've developed 45 farmers from nowhere, Bonsmara farmers, beef farmers from nowhere, and they are commercial farmers today, and they've got anything from 150 to 300 cattle, and the cattle looks as good as my cattle. So we had the MSc for Agriculture of the Free State here 2 weeks ago, and she was amazed to see what. So it's simple. It's not magic. It's not rocket science. It's actually very simple to develop. You just got to do those 4 things right.
And then advice that you would give then for other farmers to also become mentors, because what you do offers such valuable insights to mentees and the young farmers getting into the space. What advice would you give to the other farmers to step into the mentorship role?
Well, there are a number of initiatives, number of farmers that actually do it. Unfortunately, you get mentors and mentors. Yeah. Somebody who's failed in farming and now he suddenly becomes a mentor. You've got to, and there are many of them. And they haven't got the practical experience. They do it for the money, and we don't do it for the money. We do it for the sake of land reform, successful land reform. Because successful land reform is only successful if you develop successful farmers. Yeah. So dishing out land is not land reform. The speed of land reform is, the pace of land reform is fine, but the how it's happening is not. Is a bit of a mess.
And Nick, I also understand that running this entire empire, it does not come you're not a lone soldier. I understand that you have not even a sidekick, but you have a second in command.
Well, Patrick Sekwatla, I came across Patrick Sekwatla in 2015, and I said I looked at him and I said, this guy's got potential for what we're trying to do. Because at that stage I was really frustrated with what I saw, farmers coming to the farm, to the farm. They were running like headless chicken throughout South Africa, knocking on doors, but there was absolutely no help or support. So I appointed Patrick Sekwatla, and he's my sidekick as far as the development of farmers. But we've got a whole team as well. We've got a whole team of mentors in Kroonstad. We're in a specific office in Kroonstad. So it's not, we're mentoring probably about 50, 60 farmers at this stage. And we're monitoring them on a monthly basis. And we toughen them. If you need to be tough on them, because they've got to advance. If they don't advance, Look, we've got a whole program of whereby we loaning cattle to some of these farmers for a period of 4 years. They keep the progeny, and we take it back after 4 years. And if they don't listen, if they don't advance, we take the cattle back. There's a contract. The problem is also, that you can't take a graduate from university and make him a mentor. He has got the practical experience.
Yeah.
We're getting 16 graduates now for a period of 2 years from university. We're accommodating here in our training center. So we'll take them through the process. After that, they will be able to mentor farmers, but not at this stage.
Farming can be a very mental draining job, process, occupation, whatever you want to call it. What advice do you want to give, especially young farmers who want to get into this space and say, listen, I've got this piece of land and I want to start farming? What advice do you want to give?
Well, obviously, I learned the hard way. I paid a lot of school fees. I was a part-time farmer for something like 25 years. But I said to myself, I've got to learn from other people. I've got to learn from other people. And my advice would be to government: don't dish out land without deploying an appropriate mentor for that person. Mentorship is so important, absolutely so important. So any farmer that starts, I'm talking about guys who comes from the city. They know nothing about farming. Get a mentor. Some of these guys, the young farmers, they grew up on farms, so they understand farming. They learn from their father.
Yeah.
The father is their mentor. But if you're a private part-time farmer, get a mentor.
Get a mentor indeed. And then finally, Nick, before I let you go, how many bulls do you have behind us?
Well, this feedlot, the capacity of this feedlot is 10,000. Then we've got another feedlot about 20 kilometers from here, which is good, for the foot and mouth problem that we have. If you get foot and mouth, you haven't got. It's not all in one feedlot.
Yeah.
So we've got 10,000 here, and we've got another feedlot of about 10,000.
That's quite a lot of beef. Nick, congratulations. You are the mentor of the year for 2024, and we wish you all the best for the future.
Thank you, Tebogo.
Patrick, Nick has won the Mentor of the Year for 2024. He speaks so highly of you as his right-hand man. Let's talk about the importance and the significance of this mentorship program.
The importance and significance of the mentorship program to our emerging farmers, particularly emerging farmers of Free State, it was meant to uplift them, to develop them in a way of certainly giving them support so that they can better what they were doing over the years, because most of them, they were practicing inbreeding, livestock inbreeding. But when we start with the support, we introduce the bull exchange with winners, and then these farmers started to practice livestock improvement. So by so doing, our farmers today in Free State and other provinces, their livelihood have changed. So they also farming for profit.
For the farmer out there who is not quite sure if they should get onto a mentorship program, what advice would you give them, having seen the successes of your program?
Well, for a farmer out there who have not yet get sort of like a mentor who will be able to mentor him or her, they can contact Cerny Group anytime. We'll be able to advise them accordingly telephonically, or even beyond that, we can even suggest that they come to do some practicals with us at the farm to work physically so that they can earn or gain knowledge practically, or else do some sort of like training with us here for a week or so, farming management courses. So that's basically what we can always offer.
And Patrick, I guess as I close off this conversation, how do you celebrate this victory with Nick? Is there going to be some milk throwing? Is there going to be some wine, some beer?
Well, we will celebrate it in a way of dancing. We like dancing. Basically, we will dance, we'll celebrate when it is raining, then we'll have a bottle of wine. and then throw it on the, in the cups so that the water can mix with the wine. We don't want to get drunk, that it can be diluted.
Patrick, thank you so much for your time and
Pleasure.
congratulations to your team for winning.
Thank you very much.
ARC National Special Performance Test Class, sponsored by Stock Farm. This category, which has recognized exceptional bulls for over 40 years, evaluates bulls based on high merit from Phase C tests and RFI or residual feed intake. This year's recipients represent outstanding performance within their breeds. I now present to you the recipients of the ARC National Special Performance Test Class. Timmy Robinson's Beef Master, DT221. Lawrence and Alistair Brown's Beef Shorthorn, BLK 22611. The Boeran OLI 2246, belonging to Paul Brits. Ampi and Ricky Rousseau's Brahman, CRE 2252. 2W Brangus Pty Limited's Brangus WW22242. AB Rademeyer's Brown V LT2212. The Charolais BB23728, belonging to Dewald van der Merwe. Mark Wiseman's Dexter MAC 221. Jan Doges Drakensberger AD2232. Frikkie Du Plessis Huguenot SA YARI 2243. Louis de Jager's Limousine LULU 222. The Nguni ZZN 2239, belonging to Bertie van Sail Pty Limited. Also belonging to Bertie van Sail Pty Limited, the Pinsgauer GB 2260. And the Pinsale PZ 2220. Seymour Curry's SA Angus Black SCJ 2231. The SA Angus Red SCJ 2294, also belonging to Seymour Curry. Gert van der Merwe and Johan de Jager's SA Bradford GM 2261. Belonging to Sandra Janse van Vieren, the Santa Gertrudis DS 221. The Sussex CC 22123, belonging to CB Celia. And Frederiksburg Wagyu Studs Wagyu FGW 22223. Well, a big congratulations to all the bulls and all their owners. And now let's get into conversation with the sponsor, Lynette Lowe of Stock Farm, who is the sponsor of this category. Lynette, welcome back. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Performance and class test are the key words in this award. What do those actually mean?
So the test class is actually a growth performance test, a Phase C test that is conducted by the National Performance Scheme.
Okay.
Bulls enter this growth test so that their feed conversion abilities are measured. So it's literally feed intake that is measured to see how they utilize feed ultimately so that it can be converted into meat.
Okay.
So that's what our end goal is.
Yeah. And then the bulls chosen to receive these awards, I see that they come from different breeds. Why is that?
So breeds are very different. All bull breeds don't perform the same. Some are Bos Indicus, some are Bos Taurus, and they have different ways of adding or of growing and putting on weight, and they've got different meat traits.
Yeah.
So for purposes of this competition, one bull from each breed is regarded as the champion of that breed for this year. Yeah.
Okay. And then bulls. Are they more important than cows on a farm?
Never, ever.
Are you being biased there?
No, not at all. No.
Okay, so
No.
they're not more important.
Bulls
than
and cows, equally important. If I can make a comparison, a cow is like a factory,
Okay.
and a bull is like the engine that switches on that factory.
Oh,
So you
okay.
cannot have the one without the other.
Yeah.
A good bull will cover all the cows and will also deliver good progeny.
Okay.
So
okay.
the calves that they yield are also supposed to be good if the bull is good and if the cows are good. It's one machine and it works together.
They coexist. One can't
Yes.
live without the other. I was hoping you were going to say that the bulls are more important. Then I was going to throw in that. Are you saying that men are more important than women?
Well,
but anyway,
you can answer that.
no, I'm not going to get into that one. Lynette, thank you so much for your time and obviously for your continued support in this category.
Thank you.
ARC National Beef Cattle Improvement Herd of the Year Award, sponsored by Plaas Media and Stock Farm. Our final award is the Herd of the Year, one of the industry's most coveted honors. Herds in this category are assessed not only on genetic performance and record keeping, but also on their owners' leadership and mentorship in the industry. The performance traits of the herds that reach the finals include reproductive rates, participation in performance testing, cow efficiency, the thoroughness of performance records, herd size and calving performance, and advancements in genetic trends. This year's top 5 finalists are Anku Bonsmaras of Andre Hall, Extien Gunis and Sangas of Hannes Extien, Loriza Brahmana of Louis Meyer, Ondeka Simbra of Werner Wilkins, Lawrence Santas of Mani Lawrence. And the winner of the 2024 Herd of the Year is Extien Gunis and Sangas of Hannes Extien, a long-standing finalist with outstanding herd achievements.
Ons weeg alle skalks op spenouderdom. Ons weeg hulle op 12 maande, ons weeg op 18 maande. Ons werk in groot contemporaire groepe en ons doen ons metings baie akkuraat sodat ons akkurate syfers kan kry. Want akkurate syfers gee jou baie goeie voorspelbaarheid op jou teelwaardes. Want dis wat ons soek. Want ons 'n bil soek om te gebruik vir die toekoms, moet die bil akkurate syfers hê. Want in 'n kudde kan jy kry dat jy 'n tekort het, soos byvoorbeeld jou groei is swak of jou melk is swak of jou vrugbaarheid is swak. Dan wil jy gaan na 'n dier wat prestasie getoets is om te sien hoe lyk sy syfers, het hy goeie melk, het hy goeie vrugbaarheid, het hy goeie groei. Want jy wil jou kudde, daai tekort in jou kudde, wil jy aanspreek deur 'n nuwe bil in te bring om daai tekort in jou kudde weer reg te stel. Jy weer na die middel, ons probeer in die middel van die pad dier teel. Jy probeer nie uitskieter kudde teel, jy teel 'n kudde in middel van die pad kudde. Jy wil graag 'n balans hê tussen jou vrugbaarheid, jou melkproduksie, jou speenkalfgewig, jou groei na speen. Jy wil 'n mooi balans daarin hê. Ons wil nie uitskieters teel nie, want uitskieters nergens in die natuur doen 'n uitskieter baie goed nie. So ons probeer net daai middel of the road dier teel. Die ander ding wat ek nou wil net sê is produksieaantekening is baie belangrik om jou kudde se tendens daarop te hou. 'n Kudde of 'n stoet soos ons is soos 'n groot boot. Hy beweeg stadig, maar hy vat partykeer 'n rigting. So jy deur seleksiefoute wat jy maak, sien jy maar jy's besig om jou melk weg te tel of jy tel jou groei weg of jou vrugbaarheid gaan af. So produksieaantekening is my belangrik om vir my te wys waartoe gaan die boot. Dat jy betyds die boot se stuur kan draai sodat jy hom weer terug na die gemiddelde toe kan bring. So as jy sien daar is 'n melkprobleem, dan kan jy bulle gaan soek of in jou kudde bulle selekteer wat se melkproduksie bietjie hoër is. Deur prestasietoetsing sien jy dit, dan kan jy weer die kudde terugbring na die middel toe. So dis waar ek sien prestasietoetsing tot sy regkom. In die lewe werk dit so. As jy niks doen nie, gaan goed agteruit. Alle maniere hoe jy iets in die lewe kan vorentoe vat is jy moet iets insit. So ons gebruik in beesteling gebruik ons enige hulpmiddel wat vir ons die pad wat vir ons die stoet kan se kwaliteit of se waarde of se ekonomie kan lig. So ons gebruik produksieaantekeninge, ons gebruik visuele beoordeling. So ons vat die hele pakket. Ons laat nie net die diere aan hulle self jag in die kamp toe en laat hulle self oor en dan hoop ons daar kom iets goed uit. Ons tree aktief op om die kudde se kwaliteit te lig of se ekonomiese waarde te lig. Want dit gaan op 'n einde van die dag om ekonomies wees, anders is dit op die plaas nie. Anders op die plaas kan bly nie.
Well, a big congratulations to our herd of the year. Let's now talk to the sponsor of this category, Deirdre Lowe of Plaas Media and Stock Farm. Deirdre, thank you so much and welcome.
Thank you so much.
What exactly is an improvement herd? And why specifically the term improvement?
An improvement herd refers to a herd in which a producer applies sound herd management and breeding practices using the latest performance recording systems and technology. The end goal is then to improve your herd's genetics.
What are the traits that you measure? Why are they so important?
Some of the traits that are measured include things like reproduction rates, calving efficiency, cow efficiency, calving performance, genetic trends, things like that. And then they also consider the producer's involvement in industry, the interaction with industry and with fellow producers.
Why is it so important for Plaas Media and Stock Farm to be a part of this category, to be a part of these awards?
Well, this category specifically embodies everything that Plaas Media stands for. Everything that we do is to assist producers in improving themselves. So, yes, the content in our magazines and on our platforms focus on their farming practices, their livestock, things like that. But eventually it has a snowball effect. Improvement on the farm, improvement in the herd leads to improvement in their interactions with their communities, with their families, and eventually the person themselves also improve.
I'm sure you would have learned quite a bit when it comes to farming and livestock production and so on and so forth. Has this made you more confident to perhaps one day own your own farm?
Yes, that is the absolute dream. I would love to do that. But yeah, that's maybe a 10 or 20 year goal.
One day. Deirdre, thank you so much for your time and obviously always supporting this particular category and these awards is highly appreciated. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks.
Awesome. Well, congratulations to all our finalists and winners for their dedication and contribution to South African beef production. I now hand over to Dr. Andrew Magadlela to do the official word of thanks.
Thank you, Tebogo. It is with great honor and joy that I take this opportunity to express a few words of gratitude to those who have given so generously of their time, resources, and talents to ensure that this event is a success. It is indeed befitting that excellence among the best in our beloved beef industry is celebrated in that glorious manner that we have just witnessed today. The 2024 ARC Beef Performers Awards would not have been a resounding success without the immense contribution and teamwork of a number of people and organizations. In the best interest of time, let me just mention and thank a few individuals and stakeholders for their generous contributions to the preparations and staging of the function. The ARC Council, that is led by the chairperson, Ms. Joanne Isaacs, the ARC President and CEO, Dr. Lita Maginga, for the welcome address and continuous support to the awards. Our line department, the Department of Agriculture, for continued support to the National Animal Improvement Schemes. Our strategic partner, and indeed main sponsor, Plaas Media, for their generosity, commendable marketing strategy, in producing a prestigious event that we all can be proud of. Then our valued sponsors, for a great many years for that matter, Farmers Weekly, Molatech, and GMP Basic, for their continued commitment and dedication in making this event possible and a success. Representatives from the media houses who are here, the organizing committee and marketing team of animal production, and the ARC for ensuring that we present a reputable and internationally recognized event. Lastly, I wish to congratulate the winners for the hard work that they put into their operations. To those who did not win this year, please don't give up. Your turn will come, perhaps next year. I thank and encourage all the nominees, finalists, and winners, as well as the beef industry at large, to embrace science and technology in their farming enterprises in view of the many challenges that we have to contend with. One of them is climate change. We used to get used to the phenomenon of climate change and build into our husbandry practices strategies to mitigate the effects of climate change. Ria leboga, danki, enkosi, siyabonga. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Dr. Andrew. As we bring this memorable event to a close, let's take a moment to celebrate not only the achievements we've recognized tonight, but also the unwavering spirit of our agricultural community. Each award symbolizes the dedication, passion, and vision of those who are driving South Africa's beef industry forward. One herd, one farm, and one family at a time. Congratulations once again to our winners and nominees. Your dedication shapes the future of South Africa's beef industry, and we are grateful for your hard work. Here's to another year of growth and success in agriculture. Goodbye.